Welcome back to the channel. So for this one, we're back again with a Spitfire. Starting to find quite a lot of enjoyment from the Spitfire on the channel. You will have noticed there's 2 or 3, I think this is the 4th to go up on the channel, and there'll be more to come. So for this one, what really spurred this on was wanting a 5C, and we've been a little bit, it's been a bit of a struggle to get a 5C of any type, trop or no, in 1/48 scale. It's a, for whatever reason, it's a plane that hasn't been kitted that much. You get sort of short run things like Special Hobby and that sort of thing. So when I found out that Eduard were releasing one, I was really quite happy. Got a set of extra decals, as you saw there. That's what that sheet on the right hand side is. And in there was an interesting scheme for a clipped wing, an LF5C. VC or 5C, and the only way at the minute to get 5C from Eduard is either direct as Overtrees or as part of this Eagle Calls boxing. But obviously we're going to have 5Cs coming out of our ears before too long, with lots of nice Australian schemes, desert schemes, and many other interesting schemes. So typical thing, we're going to run through this one quite quickly because this is just like the same sort of build up like the Tamiya Mark 1. It's certainly very much like the Eduard Mark 1. So just build it straight the way through. As you can see, we've got all the bits there, straight in with the cockpit colour, just following the instructions. No dramas, no problems, using the etch where I want to, not using it where I don't want to, and then straight in with the Mr. Colour. Bit of Tamiya XF1 as well, which is never a bad thing to add in there. Great paint Tamiya, but easily overlooked, and it's all going to be cut with Mr. Colour leveling thinners. So that's going to all go through my Harder & Steenbeck Ultra. Now I've upgraded this one a little bit since. I've got a 10mm cup, and I've got the I don't know how you describe it. It's the same needle and nozzle set, but it's got a different nose cap. It's got just 2 bits where you can slide your finger and see the needle quite easily. Sprayed up the chair, so this is a bit different. This is the first time I've done a Bakelite chair, and for that it's XF9, and that's, well, it's sort of, it's like paper based. It's like mashed paper, a bit like if you know German armour, exactly the same sort of stuff that the wire cutter handles are made of. That funny kind of compressed paper. Looks like Bakelite, but I don't think it actually is. Now, all the bits there, I just use my milk bottle tops with a bit of white tack, cocktail sticks, etc. Push it in, and I can spray them up, all the same colour on that one little bit. Keeps your fingers out of the way, keeps everything nice and easy, gives it plenty of time to dry. You can see how the interior green's gone on nicely there on the cockpit sides and on these side walls that seem to mount in. And now we just need to mask off some areas and spray the rest silver. And that's using Mr. Colour 8, which is my go-to. It's great stuff. Running out of it actually, so I've got to get some more. This heart-shaped kind of papery masking tape that you see, this is just whatever's available. So this was a Valentine's Day set I happened to get. And it's cheap washi tape, so it's good for filling in gaps. Saves your Tamiya tape, for instance, which is very good for giving you nice straight edges. So there you can see a bit of detail. I've added in a bit of photo etch, the toe clamps, I suppose, the little bit of canvas that goes over the foot pedals. We've got the instrument panel on, that's photo etch straight out of the box. And we've got the compass in there as well. We've got some side panels, a little box there that goes on. Got a lovely gun sight. You get 2 options. This was the one it looked like was most likely to have been in this particular aircraft at the time. You also get one with a circle as well as a square piece of glass. Very nice piece, that. Gun sights are easily overlooked in model aeroplanes. And here now you can see we've got the components of the cockpit together. And we started to add the belts. That's all from photo etch that comes as part of this, because this is a Profi pack. In the box, the Eagles Call box, it's a set for American schemes for 5Bs and 5Cs. So you get a chance to do 1 5B and 1 5C. If you want to know what the difference is, it's the wing. It's a different makeup on the wing. A different armament, for instance. the C actually starts to get you to the point where you're getting nearer to a universal wing, so you can get all sorts of different armaments in the same wing. Whereas the B, you have to have cannons in a certain makeup, basically. You have to have them in a certain way. Whereas in the 5C, you can have all machine guns, you can have multiple cannons, 2 cannons, 1 cannon, a cannon capped off. In this instance, this is actually one with a single cannon in each side of the wing. And then instead of having the cap on the other cannon, it's actually removed, so we have to take that off. Now you can see there a little bit, built the cockpit up a little bit. Off camera, I've just done a couple of washes, just the ammo enamel washes. Simple stuff. No, I didn't want to go over old ground with this one. I wanted this to be a bit of a quick video, and I've shown you it time and time again in previous videos. So it's just any enamel wash that looks right. You know, on a green, a dark green works really well. On silver, a sort of dark brown works really well. Dark brown works well on everything, just so you know, for giving a bit of grime in the recesses. And I've also darkened the photo etch seat belts. Now, I wanted to do something different here that I haven't done before, and actually close off the canopy. You often see aircrafts always the same. It's canopies wide open, doors open, everything that can be opened around the cockpit you open because you put a lot of effort in there. For this one, I wanted to retain the shape of the Spitfire, so I've closed the door. Lo and behold, didn't fit that well. This is, again, one of the things, you know, that you've got to think about. And I've got the canopy on, which does fit quite nicely. So just showing you the wing there. And that I'm going to actually put the clipped wings on the end. They all come in the box. This is good for Eduard. Airfix do this as well. You generally get all the stuff you need in the box to do a range of models that don't happen to actually be in the box. So for instance, you get slipper tanks, you get all variants of drop Vokes filters and all the different filters that go under the chin. And what I also noticed in there is you've got the clipped wing caps. Usually it's meant to be a pointed wing, and then they clip it and they put a cover on the end, so you get those covers. And you can make the different types of cannons as well, so none of what I'm trying to say is, as part of the Eagles Call boxing, none of that is actually in the marking schemes. They're all pretty straightforward, but you get all the parts. So that's the point I'm trying to make there. So what you know coming down the line, they're future-proofing themselves once they've done the mould. Here you can see the end there for the clipped wing. So when they're thinking about a mould, they're thinking about all the options of Spitfires that they can have down the line, all the different types of boxing. So they tend to mould it all on the same sprue, and you don't use those parts for different ones. And that's what we're doing here. So we haven't got a 5C boxing yet. You don't need to use some of these parts, but going forward, I'm sure they will be offered. A little bit of issue on the wing root. I'm not going to complain about that. This is my second Eduard Spitfire, and the second time I've had problems at the wing root. I'm not convinced it's the kit yet. I'm also not convinced it's me, but it could be the placement of the wing spar. With a couple guys, we've been looking at it, and they seem to be able to get it all right, so it could be down to me. So it takes a little bit more work. Just showing there, I want to actually clip out the wing lights, the landing lights on the wing tips, and I'm going to add those by using clear plastic. Something I haven't done for a while. I used to do it all the time. So now that shows you the entire components. We've got a bit of grey sprayed on the plane, which is just seam checking. So around all the panels I want to be flush. I've sprayed that because when it's covered you can see it a lot better than when it's just bare plastic. Fixed any seams I'm not happy with, and I've just got everything off the sprues now, ready to go forward into painting, so I can paint things as different sub-assemblies. We've got the canopy there that needs to be masked up, and now just looking around the airframe you can see how it's looking pretty good. I've added back in any panel lines that I've lost through sanding, added back in any rivets as well. And is looking pretty good. So at this point it's good to talk, I think, the difference between, so we've done the Tamiya Mark 1, and now a lot of people in the comments were saying, oh, it's not the best model. For instance, there's the Eduard one's better. Well, I built the Eduard one before. Of course, a lot of people hadn't noticed that. And the difference between the two, really, is you get a lot more finer detail from the Eduard kit. It's finer surface detail. You do get rivets, which you don't get on the Tamiya kit. And you get a lot more options as well and components in the kit, rather than just making standard Spitfire Mark 1, for instance. So this is a very highly detailed kit. You also get all the photo etch in this one. You get paint masks for the canopy. But the downsides are, on both of them, the decals, really, if you're looking at doing something sensible and making a pretty good model, the decals on both Tamiya and Eduard, unfortunately Eduard now, they used to be great. They used to be brilliant as cartograph. They got even better when they started printing their own decals. And now they've changed something in-house on their own decals, and I personally think they're unusable. That's my view. I don't think there's any point trying. Because what I've seen where people say, oh, you can use them, yes, you can. You can get the decals on, you can cover them, but even on Eduard's press releases, you can see the carrier film, it sticks out a mile, it doesn't go into the recesses, it doesn't go into the rivets. And if you peel off the carrier film, you ruin the decal. It's just too risky to do. So if you want to have a really good, if you want to start looking at sort of getting into competitions or having a showstopper or something like that, you've got to spray on your markings. That's it. There's no way around it. Cut masks, buy masks, spray the markings. We don't do that here because that's not what this model's about. But if you want to take it to the next level, that's the only way, really. I would almost say that anyway with rivets. I don't think you can get any type of decal into the fineness of the rivets on a plane like this, like what Eduard are moulding. Just showing you there, this is the process for landing lights. I think it's reasonably straightforward. Clear plastic sprue, super glue it in there, sand it back, buff it back till it's clear. There you go. So that's my view on the two. If you want a great fitting model and you're not worried about surface detail, buy the Tamiya kit. Obviously for a Mark 1, this is Mark 5, so they don't do a new Mark 5. And if you want a really finely detailed model, very precise, Eduard's the way forward. They're pretty much the same price. You get the same sort of thing in those two kits. What I'm just showing you there is the exhausts. So looking at the reference pictures, we could see that the exhaust had the pipe for the gun, for heating the... I don't know what it's for, actually. Heating the gun, something like that. But they've been cut off. So I just made the hole where it would be and then cut them off. Can you see the rookie mistake here? I must have been thinking it was 1940, not 1944. I've painted it sky. I don't know why, I just did. But anyway, from that I could mask up the band anyway, and now we've got to paint, obviously, medium sea grey. And there we go, much more like the later war European scheme on the Allied aircraft. Now this is a new area for me. I've never done this scheme. So this is ocean grey just gone on and then been masked off. Again, no point putting you through this. Done it time and time again. Look back through the channel, any Allied builds, and you'll see that I always do this white tack worms, and then I mask it off, and that's how I get my nice hard but soft edge for the demarcation line. And now we're going on with the dark green. All of this cut again with Mr. Leveling Mr. Leveling Thinners, sorry. And now we've got to put the yellow leading edges on. Again, something I've not done before. So it's all new to me, this scheme. And everything unmasked. We've got the sky spinner, the sky band round the back, medium sea grey underneath, ocean grey and dark green on top, and yellow leading edges. And it makes for a very attractive aircraft. I think it's very nice. The next thing for this is do not put on small parts like the aerial or pitot tube, because you will snap it off like I just did. I decided not to do the one with the D-Day stripes, so we've got this option from before having the stripes added and after having the stripes added. So I'm going to use the decals from the extra decal set. I'm looking forward. I want another 5C trop. That one up there is the one I want, really. And the decals are on, just by magic. No point showing you, because again, I've done videos in the past all about it. If you look back through the channel, I'll link them down below. I've done a video on decals. Same thing, this was a gloss coat, straight on, hit them with the setting solutions, and just make sure they bed down nicely. The weathering is pretty simple, just enamel washes again. So as we're doing this, I'll talk about the decals a bit more in depth. So I used the stencils from the Eduard kit, and again, you can say what you like about them being good decals or them usable. They're fine, but I've used the same process with extra decal, and then I've moved to the Eduard decal, and in the same area, on the same surface, with the same technique, I've got silvering on the Eduard decals. Now, that doesn't say to me that they're very good. There's no silvering on the extra decals. None of it's bedded down into the rivets and the panel lines, and that's fine. I made my peace with that. That's not what this was about. This is more a kind of a good model from 2 foot away, not one to get your magnifying glasses out in. It's just a representation of a Mark LFVC, which I wanted to do. And that's no problem with that. You know, not every model needs to be a showstopper. Not every model needs to be an award winner. Sometimes it just needs to be fun. And I ended this model at the point where I could still say this is fun. I didn't want to then take it down a road where I get lost into the weathering and the minutiae and trying to make it look like people I've seen on YouTube, people I've seen on Facebook. It doesn't matter. I'm happy with this. I'm sharing it with you. And that's what this model's for. So often as we go down the road of modelling, I find that we are sort of getting a little bit stuck in finishing. It's a skill that a lot of us lose if we don't keep it up. We can get too in-depth into the model, starting to worry about it too much. So just something to think about. Try and, maybe have a fun build now and again if you do a lot of serious modelling. Or if that's not for you, then that's fine. If it's build a model a year and it's the best you can do, well, then that's great as well. Each to their own. But for me, I like to actually have some completions, have some that I don't worry too much about, have some that I do, etc., etc. And it's all about just keeping skill memory, as it were, just keeping the muscle memory going as you're going on through. You do these things regularly, you pick it all up. If you don't airbrush because you've spent 3 months building a model, when you get to airbrushing, you might be a little bit rusty. So just something to think about. So now this one brings this one to a close. I'm just putting some pastels there onto the exhausts. You can see a little bit of streaking there, fuel streaking. You can also see a little bit of carrier film. That's not silvering, that's just the thickness of the carrier film. The silvering's on the eagle-eyed viewers might be able to see that walkway just in the distance there on the front portion of the wing. There's a touch of silvering under there, but nevertheless, I'm very happy with this. And I hope you are too. I hope you're happy with this video. I hope you found it enjoyable. I hope you like what's going on with the channel. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you like the video, hit the like button down below. Check out any of the videos I've linked down below for some of the things I've mentioned, and I'll see you in the next video.